So first I'll read the two verses, then I think a lot of devotees are present, so everyone can read one verse. So I'll also read one verse, and more devotees will join, I guess, later. So the Prabhus can read first, and the Matajis can read after that. So, okay. Chapter 15, Bhagavad Gita, Purushottam Yoga, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Moolam Nadha Shakham Ashvatam Prahuravyayam.
Prabhu, the screen is something else. The very different.
Is it?
I did something.
Okay, let me do it again. Now, can you see?
No, Prabhuji.
No.
It shows your work screen.
Okay, let me try it one more time. Oh, I see. It somehow flipped the 1 and 2. So this has become the 1. Okay, now I should be able to see. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Moolam Madha Shakham Ashvatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Astam Veda Savedavid. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Okay, let's ask Ramya Prabhu, and then Sudhir Prabhu, Vipul Prabhu, Umesh Prabhu, Rammohan Prabhu. All the Prabhus can read. Yes, let's start. Ramya Prabhuji, you want to read? One verse everyone can read, because a lot of devotees present. Okay, I guess Sudhir Prabhu, you can continue. Maybe Prabhuji is busy.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandot Pranam, all praise to Srila Prabhupada. Text number 2. Adastotvam prasadastasya sakha guna pravarta vishaya pravala adascha mulyam anusantani karmanubandhani manushya-loke. The branches of the tree extend downwards and upwards, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to fruitive actions of human society. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Text 3. Na rupa ma sheho tatho palabhate nanto no chardin cha sampatishtha ashatha menang subiriro mulam asanga shastreno dhirano chitta tattapadang tatpari margitabang jasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyo tamevo chaddam purusham prapadde Jata Pravritti Prasita Purani. Purport. Translation. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text number 5. Nirmana moha chita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinirutta kamaha dardaya dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sange gachanti amudha padam avyayam tata. Translation: those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dhanavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Natad bhayas bhase yate suryo nasas anko na pavaka yagat yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. The supreme abode of mind is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yes, Nandini Mataji, you can start and other Matajis can follow.
Dandavat. Mamevam sho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashashtani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind.
Yes, Renuka Mataji, then Kirti Mataji, Kashish Mataji, Puna Mataji, Vijay Mataji, Lakshmi Mataji. So let's start the next one.
शरीरं यद् अवाप्नोति यच्चापि उत्क्रमतीश्वरः गृहीतैवैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धान् इवश्यति. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Text 9. Shotram chakshusprshanam cha rasanam granameva cha adhishtaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate. The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense object. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Tanvat Pranam to all devotees. Text number 10. Utkramantam sthitam vapi bhunjanam vaguranvitam vimudhananu pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Puna Mataji, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Text 11. Hare Krishna, everyone. Dandavat Pranam. Text 11. Yatanto yoginas chainam pasyanti atmane avasthitam yatanto pai akratam mano nainam pasyanti achettatsa. The endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, but those whose mind are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 12. Yadadityagatam tejo jagadbhashyate yatchandramasi yatjagno tatejo vidimamakam. The splendor of the sun which dissipates the darkness of this whole world comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of the fire are also from me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 13. Gam aveshya cha bhutani dharayami ahamojasa pushnami shaushadik sharvaha somo bhutva rashatmakaha. I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon, and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. Hare Krishna.
Mr. Amir Prabhuji, would you like to read? And then Silas Prabhu and then Vishal Prabhu can read.
Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita Pranapana Samayukta Pachami Anam Chaturvidam. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of foodstuff.
Text 15.15. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mata smritirjnanamohanam cha vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyo vedantakrit vedavideva chaham. I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas.
Dvavimau purushu loke sharashchakshara evacha yeshara sarvani bhutani kutasto keshara uchyate. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. Okay.
Thank you. Who has not yet read and would like to read? Yes, one devotee, Anusha Shravana. Would you like to read, please?
Yes, Prabhu, 1 minute.
Text number 17.
Uttama purushasva anyah paramatmati udharatah yo loka trayam avishya vibharti avya ishwarah. Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them.
Thank you. Do you live in Tampa? Where do you live?
I live in Hyderabad.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining. Anyone else? Any of your husband or wife or kids or grandkids or want to read when they're present? I don't know. Or present along. Today is the last day of Purushottam month. We have 3 more verses.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
18.
Yashmat saram atito ham aksharad api chottamaha atasmi loke veda cha pratihita purushattamaham. Because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as their supreme person. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else?
Roji, may I read?
Yes, yes, please. 19.
Nivamasamutto janati purushottama sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavina bharata. Hari bol. Whoever knows me as Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in a full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata.
Thank you. Swati Mataji, you want to read the last verse? 20?
of the preparation. Text 20. Iti guvyatamam shastram idam yuktam maya naga etat buddhva buddhimam syat kritakrityascha bharata. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures. O sinless one, it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise and his endeavors will know perfection. That's it.
Om Tat Sat Iti Śrīmad Bhagavad-gītāshu Upanishadṣu Brahma Vidyāyam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Purushottam Yogo Nama Panchadasha Adhyayah. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta translations to the 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the Yoga of the Supreme Person. So thank you so much to all the devotees who were present every day for the last 30 days. To take a vow is one thing, to do it is totally other thing. It's not easy to follow spiritual vows, but all of you are very, very sincere for regularly, daily joining these calls and reading and giving inspiration to all. So thank you so much. You took out extra 15 minutes from your busy schedule and read this Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, which is very, very pleasing to the Lord and for our purification. So now we will read chapter 14 of Canto 10 of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my humble obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye. Before reciting Srimad Bhagvatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Shri Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagvatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on Srimad Bhagvatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Govardhanadharam Vande Gopala Goparupinam Gokula Utsavameshanam Govindam Gopika Priyam Vande Navaghana Shama Dvibhujam Muralidharam Pitambaradharam Devam Sharadam Purushottamam. Aho Bhagyam Nanda Gopa Vrajokasam Yanmitram Paramanandam Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. So who has learned this verse? Anyone learned this verse? Wow, one Mataji has learned. Aho Bhagyam to you. Okay, very nice verse. So please try to, it's simple. Aho Bhagyam. Who's Bhagya? Yeah. Nanda Gopa Vrajokasam. To Nanda Maharaj, to all the Gopas, and to all the residents of Vrindavan. Why? Yan Mitram, their friend, was whom? Paramanandam, topmost Purushottama, Purnam, Brahma, Sanatanam. Okay, let's read text 39 of Canto 10, chapter 14, the prayers of Lord Brahma. We'll read these two verses, and that will be the last two verses of this prayers of Lord Brahma. Anujanihi mam Krishna sarvam tvam vetasi sarvadrik tvam eva jagatam natho jagat etat tavarpitam. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada disciples Ki Jai. My dear Krishna, I now humbly request permission to leave. Actually, you are the knower and the seer of all things, Indeed, you are the Lord of all the universes, and yet I offer this one universe unto you. Purport. In his Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada has quoted Lord Brahma as follows: My dear Lord, although you are the Supreme Lord of all creation, I sometimes falsely think that I am the master of this universe. I may be master of this universe, but there are innumerable universes, and there are also innumerable Brahmas who preside over these universes. But actually, you are the master of them all. As super soul in everyone's heart, you know everything. Please, therefore, accept me as your surrendered servant. I hope that you will excuse me for disturbing you in your pastimes with your friends and cows. Now, if you will kindly allow me, I will immediately leave so you can enjoy with your friends and cows without my presence. Please keep your phones on mute if you're not speaking. That helps. The words Sarvam Tvam Vetasi Sarvadrik are very significant here. Lord Krishna knows everything and sees everything, and therefore Lord Brahma did not need to remain in Vrindavan to maintain his personal loving contact with the Lord. In fact, as the creator of the universe, Lord Brahma was somewhat out of place in the simple, blissful atmosphere of Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna was exhibiting his supreme opulences in herding cows, enjoying, enjoying picnics and playing games and so on. Upon seeing the intense love of the residents of Vrindavan had for Lord Krishna, Brahma felt unqualified to remain there. He was not eager to give up the Lord's association, but he felt it better to return to his personal devotional service in Brahmaloka. Somewhat embarrassed and unhappy over his foolish attempt at bewildering the Lord, Brahma preferred to resume his transcendental, loving service rather than to try to enjoy the Lord's presence. Hare Krishna. So, in this wonderful verse, the Lord Brahma is speaking this. These are the prayers of Lord Brahma. Basically, he is taking Lord's permission that now let me go back to my regular duties of maintaining the universe, the material world. So, very, very important lessons. Number one, Lord Brahma was given the in charge of creation of the material world of one of the universe. First of all, the Lord is said as Jagatam Natha, Jagannath, famous Lord Jagannath. Jagannath doesn't mean just Lord of India or Lord of this world or Lord of earth or Lord of this universe. It means the Lord of all the universes, not just material, even the spiritual planets. It's everything. So, but Lord Brahma is a tiny Lord, is a tiny master of this universe only. And that too also, who has given that service to him is Krishna. And that very Brahma is very well recognizing it. So what is he saying? He's saying, I offer this one universe unto you. So I like this lesson a lot, that the Lord may have also offered to us something, whether it is education, whether it is wealth, whether it is some kind of skill, whether it is some abilities, etc. We all have been given something by the Lord. But if we use that, but like Brahma, the conditioned soul may think, oh, it is actually mine. It is my home. It is my universe. It is my property. It is my this. It is my that. But Lord Brahma is telling, what should we do? Whatever we have been given, whatever we say, oh, it is mine, we should offer it back to the Lord, because otherwise we are thieves, we are stealing it, or falsely proclaiming it as ours. Now, will that please the Lord? Yes, that will absolutely please the Lord. The famous example, like a child may pick a rose flower from the mother's or the father's backyard and give it to the mother or the father on their birthday or any day, and say, "Hey, Mama, Papa, I got this wonderful flower for you." Most of you are parents, most of you have children. Would you be happy to receive that from your son, daughter, any dear one? Absolutely. Although it is, you are doing the hard work to maintain the backyard or the lawn, the garden, whatever. But if your child gives it to you, you will be very happy. Everyone will be very happy. So similarly, when we offer back whatever the Lord has given to us, it belongs to Him only, but the Lord is very happy in that loving reciprocation. And now, another lesson is that, okay, we may sometimes go to Vrindavan, sometimes go to other holy places, but Lord Brahma has also been there. But ultimately, Lord Brahma is showing that seva is more important than just trying to relish oneself, the activities and the association of Lord. The seva aspect, Lord Brahma is showing that seva is more important. So let Brahma is saying, let me go to resume my transcendental loving service rather than to enjoy the Lord's presence. The last line of the purport, very, very important. So, because it's not what I like, it's what the Guru and Krishna will like. So I like these two lessons in this purport in the verse. Any other comments or questions? I'm just thinking about that also, that when the Vaikuntha Airlines come to take Dhruva Maharaj says, well, let me do my sadhana, let me do my seva, and you hold on for some time. Again, showing that the seva aspect is more important. Okay, who has not read this week? Renuka Mataji wants to read? Sudhir Prabhu wants to read.
I can read, Prabhuji. I haven't read.
Okay, sure.
Text number 40. Shri Krishna Vrashnikula Pushkaro Jasod Yayin Kshema Nircharat Vicha Pashuddhadi Vritti Karin Udharma Sarvara Haraksiti Rakshas Dur Akalpam Arkam Arham Bhagavan Namaste. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami disciples. Hare Krishna. My dear Sri Krishna, you bestow happiness upon the lotus-like Vrishni dynasty and expand the great oceans consisting of earth, the demigods, the brahmanas, and the cows. You dispel the dense darkness of irreligion and oppose the demons who have appeared on this earth. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, as long as this universe exists and as long as the sun shines, I will offer my obeisances unto you. Purport. According to Srila Sanatana Goswami, Lord Brahma is here engaged in the ecstasies of Nama Sankirtana, glorifying various holy names of Lord Krishna that indicate his variegated pastimes. Lord Krishna expertly suppressed the demonic population of the earth, which became unbearable with the advent of demonic politicians like Kamsa, Jarasandha, Shishupala. Similarly, in modern society, there are many so-called God-fearing people who are actually attracted to demonic existence. Such persons became aligned with the setting of the sun and go in the darkness to enjoy life in restaurants, nightclubs, disco, hotels, and so on, which are all simply meant for illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. Then there are those who openly defy God and His laws, declaring themselves atheists and demons, both the covert and the overt enemies of the Lord, constitute of unholy burden for the earth, and Lord Krishna descends to expertly remove this burden. Here, Lord Brahma indirectly states that Lord Krishna should remove Brahma's own subtle atheism, which had led him to try to exert illusory power of Lord Krishna. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, Lord Brahma, in his shame, felt himself to be like a Brahma Rakshasa from Satyaloka, who had come to the earth to disturb Lord Krishna and his intimate friends and cows. Brahma is lamenting that although Lord Krishna is most exalted, the Lord of all the Lords, because he had appeared before Brahma in such a simple and innocent feature, decorated with a stick, a conch shell, ornaments, red clay, peacock feather, and so on, and sporting with his cowherd boyfriends. Brahma dared to challenge him concerning Brahma's prayers, of which the verse is the conclusion. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura states, "May these prayers of Brahma, which take away all doubts and broadcast all the definitive conclusions of devotional service, become the expert craftsmanship of the foundation of my consciousness." Hare Krishna Prabhuji, and the so very beautiful verse. And so here, of course, uh, Lord, Brahmaji, he's praying, and so here, disciples of Prabhupada state that Srila Sanatana Goswami, Lord Brahma is engaged in the ecstasy of Nam Sankirtan. Of course, as we know, Lord Krishna wants to engage his devotees in his pastimes. When he comes here, he comes with his paraphernalia and everyone. And as you already explained, so for us to teach a lesson, Krishna engages his own devotees, like by and here it clearly mentioned that Lord Krishna expertly suppressed the demonic population, like Kamsa, Jarasandha, and all. So basically, in this Kali Yuga, these people are in like going to the discos, hotels, restaurants, and illicit sex and all. So compared to like that, and and they openly defy the gods, and they declare themselves as atheists because they just want to enjoy this material world. But we know that this is a life of janma mrityu jara vyadi. So this is a prison. So we should try to get out of this prison as early as possible. And also here, Lord Brahma is indirectly states that Lord Krishna should remove atheism of Brahma himself. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura is also explaining that Lord Brahma is in his shame felt himself as Brahma Rakshasa because of his humbleness. He felt himself because he knew that he offended the Lord. Of course, even though it is a leela, but so in this way, Brahma was able to see Krishna in a very simple form with a cowherd boy, conch shell, peacock feather, and so on. But Brahma thought that he is a normal, cowherd boy. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura is again telling that may these prayers of Brahma, which take away all the doubts, and so with conclusion, we can focus all our mind and senses BMW into the Krishna consciousness. That's my understanding, Prabhu. Please add Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Muji. for reading such wonderful verse and sharing your reflections. This is the last verse in the series of this chapter, Prayers of Lord Brahma. So this verse is kind of a conclusion of the prayers also, or a summary of the whole story, that how Lord Kṛṣṇa, that's how now Brahma is directly addressing the Supreme Lord as Sri Kṛṣṇa, not as Bhagavan, not as Brahman, not as Paramatma, not as any other adjectives, but directly. Because often people will say, well, Brahmaji is talking to the, someone else who is Bhagavan. No, he's talking to the same Sri Kṛṣṇa. So he gives the pleasure that he is the darling of Vraja. He's the one who gives the pleasure to all the Vrajavasis, the Vrishni Kula. So that's one aspect. And then he expands in all the Brahmanas, cows, demigods, Mother Nature. Everything is coming from him only. So that also Brahmaji mentioned in detail in previous verses. Now he's kind of summarizing. He also mentioned that why you come, to give pleasure to devotees and to kill the demons. So that also he's mentioning in this verse. And what should a devotee do? That Brahma also has mentioned. Hridvagvapur vidadhan namaste. We discussed that. Namaste. The last word is the line of this, the last word of this verse is namaste. That by showing by his own example that I will continue to offer my namaste, I'll continue to offer my pranams, my devotional service unto you forever, akalpam, until the end of the universe. So that should be our prayer also. Bhakti is not a hobby or a monthly thing, or okay, let me try this once a month. Bhakti is till the last breath. We should not give up. And even after the next life, wherever Krishna will arrange the next body for us, that's on him. But Mama Janmani Janmanishwari, birth after birth, whether in this world or in any body, any planet, any up and down, we should never give up the path of bhakti. That is the prayer of Lord Brahma. These prayers are full of so much deep meaning. The humility Brahmaji is showing, the repentance Brahmaji is showing, the tolerance Brahmaji is teaching, that how one should be so tolerant. So sweet words Lord Brahma is using to glorify the Supreme Lord. His words are full of gratitude, immense gratitude, and immense humility. Earlier he thought that, oh, I am great, I am very intelligent, but now he has learned a lesson. And he has learned a lesson basically to teach us a lesson. He's like a character in the drama to teach us a lesson. At the same time, he is taking great joy in others being fortunate. Aho bhagyam, aho bhagyam. He's not saying, hey, why come I'm not so fortunate? He's happy to see others happy in bhakti. He's happy to see, oh, others got this mercy more. So that's a sign of a sincere devotee. Is not saying, well, I'm Krishna is partial to them. Why can I be fortunate? Okay, they are more happy. Para sukha sukhi, being genuinely happy in others getting more mercy. So this is the real ornament of a devotee. So we can also learn a lot. And as Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is praying, we can also pray that may these prayers of Lord Brahma, which take away all the doubts and broadcast the definitive divine conclusions of devotional service, become the expert craftsmanships of the foundation of my consciousness. So that means to internalize these prayers, the mood of humility, the mood of devotional service, the mood of glorification of Lord and his devotees, the mood of sincerity. If we make mistakes, sincerely feeling repentant about our mistakes and begging for mercy. That's what Lord Brahma is teaching. Any comments, additions in this text?
Just small point, that is Vishnu Chakrabarti Thakur in his commentary is saying that this verse and the next 3 through 46 show the inconceivable power of Yoga Maya, and how she allowed the cowherd boys to be completely unaware of the passage of 1 year, and thus they were concluding the pastimes with Krishna, and it's like only a moment passed for them. So somehow Krishna again was there in the same position, again taking the same food, and they thought, oh, only a moment has passed when actually a whole year. So in the presence of Krishna, Yoga Maya adjusts everything so that even a long period of time seems like just a second. But separate from Krishna, even a short time seems very long. So this is the nature of time. Oh, somebody was there. Thank you. Go ahead, Srimad.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Okay, so as we planned, we have read the prayers of Lord Brahma, which is specially recommended in this month of Purushottama. But we would like to complete the chapter and also understand the first Shruti. But we will not be able to read all the verses and translations, purports, everything. So what we will do now is just read the translations of the rest of the chapter, so we can complete this chapter. So if you would like to read, every devotee can read 2 verses, 2 translations. So we'll not be going in detail, it will be a little quicker, so we can read the remaining 18 verses, only the translations. Okay, so yes, Kirti Mataji, you have your hand up, so it must be pinning since a long time it's up. So now is your time to read. Others can raise their hand if they would like to read, so I can just quickly, you can flow with this.
Okay, translation of 41 text. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami said, having thus offered his prayer, Brahma circumambulated his worshipable Lord, the unlimited personality of Godhead, 3 times, and then bowed down at his lotus feet. The appointed creator of the universe then returned to his own residence. Text 42, translation. After granting his son Brahma permission to live, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took the cows who were still where they had been a year earlier and brought them to the river bank where he had been taking his meal and where his cowherd boy friends remained just as before. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So this circumambulation we see in pretty much any time a devotee is meeting the Lord and then they are separating, there is always a circumambulation or pradakshina. So as Holiness Bhakti Samit Maharaj was recently explaining that pradakshina, pra means it dispels all the sins. Da means it gives everything, the dhati. Da means gives what? Gives the most desirable thing, and that is bhakti. Sha means shana, kshatriya. Sha means destruction. Sha means destroys all the karma. And na, pradakshina, na means it bestows liberation or the topmost, back home, back to Godhead. So it's very important, circumambulating the Lord, the deities, the devotees, the Tulsi Maharani, etc. Okay, so let's continue. Is the next? Yes, Kashish Mataji, you want to read? So 1 year had passed, and the Lord appears back on scene, as Amir Prabhu was explaining this point, and everything remained as it is. So let's see what happens next.
Text 43, translation. O king, although the boys had passed an entire year apart from the Lord of their very lives, they had been covered by Lord Krishna's illusory potency and thus considered that year merely half a moment. Text 44 translation. What indeed is not forgotten by those whose minds are bewildered by the Lord's illusory potency? By that power of Maya, this entire universe remains in perpetual bewilderment, and in this atmosphere of forgetfulness, no one can understand his own identity. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. I think Ramya Prabhu explained this point, that how the illusory potency of the Lord, so no one could understand that this time had passed and they were covered by apohanam cha service. Krishna gives forgetfulness, so they just forgot. Okay, yes, Nayan Prabhu, please read next two verses.
Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam, text 45. The cowherd boy friends said to Lord Krishna, "You have returned so quickly. We have not eaten even one morsel in your absence. Please come here and take your meal without distraction." Text 46. Then Lord Rishikesha, smiling, finished his lunch in the company with his cowherd friends, which they were returning from the forest to their home in Braja. Lord Krishna showed the cowherd boys in the skin of the dead serpents Agashura.
So sweet, so sweet. The boys felt out. Where were you? We were waiting for you. You came so fast. It's not even a moment. But actually 1 year had passed. That's the sweetness of Lord's pastimes. And this Agasur was killed 1 year back. But they're thinking, oh, this was just killed that very morning. And they saw that skin. Hey, Krishna, you killed this Agasura earlier this day. So let's see what happens next. Yes, Jyoti Mataji, please. Please keep your hands raised, those who want to read, so everyone can hopefully get chance. Jyoti
Text
Mataji.
47. Hare Krishna, text 47. Lord Krishna's transcendental body was decorated with peacock feathers and flowers painted with forest minerals, and his bamboo flute loudly and festively resounded. As he called out to his calves by name, his cowherd boyfriends purified the whole world by chanting his glories. Thus, Lord Krishna entered the cow pasture of his father, Nanda Maharaj, and the sight of his beauty at once produced a great festival for the eyes of all the cowherd women. Text 48. As the cowherd boys reached the village of Vraja, they sang, "Today Krishna saved us by killing a great serpent." Some of the boys described Krishna as the son of Yashoda and others as the son of Nand Maharaj. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Such a sweet verse again. Very important lessons that the cowherd boys are always singing the glories of the Lord. And the damsels of Vrindavan, what is the nectar of their eyes? What is a festival for their eyes? The sight of Lord Krishna. Such beautiful words are used. So they take great joy in associating with the Lord, in hearing about the Lord, in seeing the Lord, in glorifying the Lord. They don't take joy in materialistic things. That's a great lesson. So what do we take pleasure in? In the gossip of this world, or in talking about Krishna Katha, in seeing the deity, in serving the deities? So everyone was chanting and dancing and happy and singing and seeing Krishna. It was a festival, Netrotsav. So that's actually real festival. And they are just singing the glories and the pastimes of the Lord. And that's what Krishna says we should do. Bodhayanti Parasparam. We should talk about Krishna's name form qualities. Yes. Yes, Ram Mohan Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna. As the cowherd boys reached the village of Raja, they sang Today, Krishna saved us by killing a great serpent. Some
Hare
of the
Krishna, Prabhu. I think you missed 49.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hare Krishna. King Parikshit said, "O Brahmana, how could the cowherd woman have developed for Krishna, someone else's son? Such unprecedented pure love. Love they never felt, even for their own children. Please explain this." Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, "O king, for every created being, the dearest thing is certainly his own self. The dearness of everything else, children, wealth, and so on, is due only to the dearness of the self." Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So this verse begins with the topic is changing. The king, Sri Raja Uvacha, King Parikshit said. So King Parikshit is asking questions to Shukadev Goswami. Very, very inquisitive, very, very eager. And we discussed earlier, for that 1 year period, all the devotees of Vrindavan, all the cows of Vrindavan were loving their children equivalent to their love towards Krishna. Earlier, they were loving Krishna more than their own child. So that's a question, very, very important. Like, how can someone love someone else's child more than their own child? It's impossible, because Parikshit Maharaj is asking that. So let's see what happens next. Ramya Prabhuji, you want to read, please?
Yes, but can I just make one point?
Yes.
And that sometimes Krishna gets so absorbed in the Leela that, if there's a festival or singing and dancing, he's also singing and dancing. He forgets to play his flute. But the flute is actually a personality and becomes very unhappy. So the flute plays on its own without Krishna blowing on it. I always thought that was quite interesting.
Thank you.
So text 51. For this reason, O best of kings, the embodied soul is self-centered. He is more attached to his own body and self than to his so-called possessions like children, wealth, and home. 52. Indeed, for persons who think the body is the self, O best of the kings, those things whose importance lies only in the relationship to the body are never as dear as the body itself.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Again, this Shukdev Goswami is briefly answering this. For those who are self-centered, their only focus is their own family, own wealth, own children, own home, because of attachment. So let's read the next one. Yes, Vipul Prabhu.
If you come to the stage of considering the body, instead of me, you certainly not consider the body as dear, own. After all, even as the body is growing old and useless, one's desire to continue living remains. Therefore, it is his own self that is most dear to every man.
I think the voice is breaking, Prabhu. Maybe your connection is something wrong.
Therefore, it is his own self that is most dear to every embodied living being, and it is simply for the satisfaction of this self that the whole material creation of moving and unmoving entities exists.
Thank you. Shukdev Goswami is answering that question briefly. That everyone consider this as not my body, but me, the body. I, not my hand, not actually. So no one wants to die. Even the body is giving Death, everyone is very, very fearful of death. So even the body gives so many problems. And even though everyone knows that one time death will come, but everyone wants to live forever. And that's rather than trying to establish the relationship with the Lord. Okay, who would like to read more? Vishal, Karina, you want to read? You have to unmute. Please raise your hand if you would like to read, otherwise I will not know. Yes, please.
You should know Krishna to be the original soul of all living entities. For the benefit of the whole universe, he has, out of his causeless mercy, appeared as an ordinary human being. He has done this by the strength of his internal potency.
The unwritten.
No.
Okay. Those in this world who understand Lord Krishna as he sees see all things, whether stationary or moving, as manifest forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such enlightened persons recognize no reality apart from the Supreme Lord Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone wants to hear from you. Please come every day. Thank you. So, for those who are in the material consciousness, they cannot see all this. But for those who are Krishna conscious, who understand that Krishna, as he is, see all things, whether moving or non-moving, stationary or moving. Basically, it's an energy of the Lord. So those enlightened people, and we have discussed this verse in the prayers of Lord Brahma as well, that they are always in connection with the Lord. They don't see home as just a home. They don't see car as just a car. They see everything in connection with Krishna. So that is the essence that we should aspire to be, as Shukdev Goswami is mentioning. Okay. Next, we have 3 more verses, 3 or 4 more verses. Many devotees want to read. Let's read 1 verse each. Nandini Mataji, you want to read 1 verse?
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, sorry, I am not.
57.
Okay. Somehow the screen is not showing for me. Yeah, okay, now it shows. So, the original unmanifested form of material nature is the source of all material things. And the source of even that subtle material nature is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. What then could one ascertain to be separate from him?
Thank you. Everything is Krishna, if we have that vision. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, 58. Raghu Prabhu, please.
Yes, Hare Krishna. For those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation, and is famous as Murari, the enemy of the Murari demon, the ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoofprint. Their goal is Parampadam, Vaikunta, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step. Hare Krishna.
This is actually a memory verse, so for those who wish. Samashritaye padapallavaplavam mahat padam punyayasho murare bhavam buddhirvatsa padam param padam padam yad vipadam natesham. Lot of pause here. It's very poetic. So pada pallava plavam mahat pada punya padam 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 param padam. So a lot of peace. Very nice verse. That those who have taken the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, Mahat Padam Punya Yasho Murari, the killer of Mura demon, they don't come back and forth in this material world. And they cross over the material world, just like, which is equivalent to the hoof print of a calf. Otherwise, it's very difficult to overcome. But for those who take the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, they go where? Back home, back to Godhead. Padam Padam Vipadam Natesha, where there is no danger at every step. In the material world, there is danger at every step. So, very nice verse.
Hello, Prabhuji. Can I read?
Yes, Ayana, please. So happy to see you after a long time. 59.
Since you inquired me, I have fully described to those activities of Lord Hari that were performed in his 5th year, but not celebrated until his 6th.
Thank you so much. And we discussed the reason why they were not celebrated until 6th year. Who knows the answer? Punamataji, let's see if you know the answer. Why they were not celebrated until the 6th year?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Can you repeat?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The question is, Shukdev Goswami is telling to Parikshit that I have described those activities of Lord Hari, basically the activities which you just discussed, which were performed in the 5th year but not celebrated in the 6th until the 6th year. Why were they not celebrated until 6th year?
You caught me off guard, Prabhuji. I'm sorry.
Okay. Who all know the answer? Raise your hand. Okay, Vishal will tell. Vishal Prabhu? Yeah.
Because they were entranced for an entire year, even though they thought it was half a moment.
Yes, when they, just after Lord Brahma took the boys and the cows, the people who came back to Raja were not the real boys and cows, they were Kṛṣṇa. So at that point, they didn't tell about the killing of Aghasur. But when the Brahma brought them back, then they told, oh, that's what happened today. Every day they would share with the rest of Vrindavan Vasis what happened. Thank you. Yes, Renuka Mataji, next verse you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Any person who hears or chants these pastimes, Lord Murari performed with his cowherd friends, like the killing of Aghasura, the taking of lunch on the forest grass, the Lord's manifestation of transcendental forms, and the wonderful prayers offered by Lord Brahma, is sure to achieve all his spiritual desires. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Wow. So all glories to you. Aho Bhagyam to all of you. Tampa Okasam, the residents of Tampa in Florida, and Alachua and Memphis and Philippines.
Hyderabad.
And Hyderabad, yes. And all, wherever you are joining from. So all our spiritual desires will be fulfilled by reading Krishna Katha, by meditating upon these prayers and pastimes. So this is the words of Shukadev Goswami. These are not any Tom, Dick, Harry's words. These are the words of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam does not cheat us. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is our best friend. Shukadev Goswami is the Paramahamsa, the parrot of Radharani. So if we have that faith, if we read with that faith, attention, love, devotion, then certainly all the spiritual desires will be fulfilled. One last verse. Would like to read anyone?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Text 61. In this way, the boys spent their childhood in the land of Vrindavana,
playing hide and go seek, building play bridges, jumping about like monkeys, and engaging in many other such games. Thus end the purport of the humble servants of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 10th canto, 14th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam entitled Brahma's Prayers to Lord Krishna. Haribol. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. So Krishna would play multiple games. He's the originator of everything. Hide and seek, jumping up and down, playing bridges, jumping like a monkey. And the children like to do all these things. So it's all coming from Krishna and his friends. The root cause, Sarva Karana Karanam. So one devotee is speaking on a lecture, Krishna Krida. And even Parikshit Maharaj would play these games in his childhood. So basically, for children, absorption in Krishna consciousness means to play these games also is Krishna consciousness, because these will remind us of Krishna if we have that context and understanding. So we should engage our children in sharing these stories, that how Krishna used to play with his friends, how Krishna used to dance and act like monkeys. So in that way, they will be fully absorbed. And that's samadhi for children, actually. So there's a very nice book called Krishna Krida, if someone wants. It's all about Krishna's childhood pastimes and childhood plays. Okay, so I really want to express my deep gratitude to all of you for joining in this month of Purushottam, to every day to read Śrīmad-Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 15. We also read chapter 14, although it was kind of an impromptu plan. I didn't plan to give, like I just thought, okay, let me just share one day. There was no one available, and see, it's a divine arrangement. Somehow I was trying to schedule the classes and no one was available, and I said last minute, okay, it's a nice thing to read. So then, and we read in the last couple of days this chapter also, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it's very important. So thank you so much to all the Vaishnavas, their families, friends who have joined. I'm so grateful to you. Any comments, questions?
Thank you, Prabhuji. We are grateful to you as well, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for making us all take vows and everything. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ayana. Thank you, Anuradha. Please come again. Every day.
Okay.
Welcome.
So I was just noting that these Bhagvatam gives so much wonderful information, insight. What is all Krishna's activities? And although it seems like material activities in some sense, they're completely spiritual, and that is a lesson that Brahma has learned. That although he seems to be doing mundane activities, they're completely spiritual. And there's no other religious process, no other spiritual process that gives one such insight, such knowledge as what are the activities, what is the nature of the spiritual world and the Supreme Lord, who is so attractive. We can say these activities are so beautiful and attractive. They attract our hearts. The children, they love to sing. And when my daughter was young, one lady had taken some of the pastimes of Krishna and made it into a nice song, and the children would sing that every day. They would talk about Govardhan Puja and talking about Krishna going into the forest. And they had the whole song, they memorized it because it's so easy. And this way, when they think about being Krishna conscious, it's so simple for them because it's part of their life. So we're all very fortunate and thankful Shubha Vilas has given us this opportunity to hear and chant more about Krishna. It's been so wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, His Grace Sumya Prabhu. You joined last couple of days. It was such a pleasant surprise for us. Thank you. Okay, so we will pause here for today. Tomorrow, His Holiness Bhakti Prema Swami Maharaj will be addressing us with a great fortune, and on Sunday, His Grace Ramya Prabhu will help us to navigate from Canto 7 to Canto 8. So we are all graduating into a fresh class. I'm sure you're all very excited, like how kids go into 4th to 5th grade or 5th to 6th grade. So you will get new books, you'll get, so you can offer your Bhagavatam 8th canto to the Lord and take blessings so that we can deeply dive into Canto 8 of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. From Sunday onwards, we will start that in the presence of dear His Grace Ramya Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for wonderful classes and inspirations.